Oh, what do we have here? Today we got the day El Mencho fell. This is how Mexico's most powerful drug lord was killed. Woo! Mexico about to be on fire. Literally. Thank you guys for tuning in. And without further ado, let's get it.
Mexican drug trafficker Nemesio Rubian Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, leader of the Jalisco Nueva Generacion cartel, died on February 22, 2026, during an operation by federal forces in the municipality of Tapalpa, in the state of Jalisco, as confirmed by federal sources and international media. The military operation that ended his life provoked an immediate reaction from the criminal organization with roadblocks, burning vehicles, and armed attacks in several states of Mexico, especially in Jalisco, Guanajuato, Michoacan, and Nayarit. Considered for years one of the most dangerous criminals in the world, El Mencho was the top leader of the CJNG, an organization that became one of the most powerful and violent drug trafficking structures in Latin America and a direct rival of the Sinaloa cartel. The United States government offered a reward of up to $15 million for information leading to his capture, one of the highest for an active drug trafficker.
Damn.
The death of Oseguera Cervantes represents one of the most significant blows against Mexican drug trafficking in recent years. Nemesio Seguera Cervantes was born in Aguililla, Michoacan, in 1966, into a humble family dedicated to agricultural work. During his youth, he emigrated illegally to the United States, where he began to get involved in activities related to drug trafficking. In the early 90s, he was arrested for drug trafficking and later deported to Mexico, where he would begin his career in organized crime. After returning to Mexico, he joined local drug trafficking organizations and over time became one of the main operators of the so-called Millennium Cartel. After the fall of that criminal group, Oseguera founded the Jalisco Nueva Generacion cartel in 2009, which under his leadership became an international organization dedicated to trafficking drugs, weapons, and money. In just a few years, the CJNG went from being a regional organization to becoming a criminal structure with a presence in numerous countries and operations throughout practically the entire Mexican territory. Under Mencho's command, the CJNG became one of the most aggressive and well-armed cartels in Mexico. The organization developed operations trafficking cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, and fentanyl, mainly to the United States. The cartel also diversified its activities into crimes such as extortion, human trafficking, fuel theft, and weapons smuggling.
Dang.
U.S. authorities accused Oseguera Cervantes of running an international criminal enterprise dedicated to massive drug trafficking and money laundering, with charges filed in federal courts since 2017. The CJNG was also one of the first cartels to use military tactics, explosive drones, and heavy weaponry, which allowed it to directly confront Mexican security forces. For more than a decade, Mencho was one of the most wanted fugitives in the world. Unlike other drug lords, he rarely appeared in public and there were almost no recent photographs of him, which increased his reputation as an invisible leader. For years, a persistent version circulated in silence that Mencho was already dead long before there was official talk of his downfall. The idea was not new. Isolated rumors about his health or possible death had been circulating for some time, but they had never been analyzed in depth. Now, with the passing of the years and the lack of concrete evidence that he was still alive, these versions have gained strength again and forced us to wonder whether the true end of the CJNG leader could have occurred much earlier than previously believed. One of the elements that most fueled these suspicions was a striking detail. For years, practically no recent images or voice recordings emerged that clearly confirmed that Nemesio Seguera Cervantes was still alive. In the absence of visible evidence, doubts began to arise at least as early as 2019. It was precisely that year when the first rumors began to circulate about a possible serious deterioration in the drug lord's health. Mexican authorities then detected unusual movements in a mountainous area of Jalisco that ended up arousing suspicion. In the mountain community of Alzahuatl, within the municipality of Villa Purificación, the construction of a private hospital was discovered in an area with a strong presence of the Jalisco Nueva Generacion cartel. The work caught the attention of the security forces so much that they began to investigate the reason for such an isolated medical facility. A story soon began to be repeated among the inhabitants of the region. That hospital had been built exclusively to treat Mencho, who supposedly suffered from a serious illness and needed to remain hidden to avoid being located by the authorities. Although the idea might seem exaggerated or even extravagant, organized crime specialists pointed out that it was not impossible. Throughout the history of drug trafficking, many leaders have built private facilities, safe houses, or entire complexes designed to guarantee their safety and maintain control of their organizations. Over time, the story about the kingpin's physical deterioration began to take on more concrete form. Various reports indicated that El Mencho was suffering from possible chronic kidney failure, a problem that would have reduced his ability to move and forced him to remain hidden in some unknown location in Mexico, probably within his own territory of influence.
Dang.
This situation would explain why for years the leader of the CJNG hardly appeared in public and there were no reliable records of his movements. In January 2025, the rumor spread again with greater force. According to versions attributed to sources close to the DIA, the head of the CJNG had died some time ago. The version was publicly disseminated by journalist Ricardo Rebello, which caused the issue to once again be intensely re-established in the media and on social media. However, these versions were not new. Similar stories had been circulating for at least 5 years, suggesting a silent death or forced retirement for the criminal leader. One of the most widespread theories held that the CJNG was divided by internal disputes between family members and that Mencho had died of natural causes in a Guadalajara hospital. According to this version, his disappearance had triggered a struggle for control of the cartel. However, in June 2020, then-President Andrés Manuel López Obrador publicly denied these versions, assuring that there was no evidence of the drug trafficker's death. He also denied other reports that claimed he had been captured. Despite the official denials, the rumors continued and there were episodes that once again put the issue in the spotlight. One of the most striking occurred during the 193rd anniversary of the municipality of Cualcoman in Michoacán. During that celebration, a video was released in which a group of children publicly thanked Mencho for donating toys for the party. The recording quickly went viral and was interpreted by some as indirect proof that the drug lord was still alive. Shortly after, another incident occurred that generated even more controversy. In the municipality of Tenaya, in Jalisco, a concert was organized to celebrate the birthday of the drug lord, known in certain circles as the Lord of the Roosters. During the musical event, the group Labyrinto dedicated words of gratitude to Nemesio or Seguera Cervantes and publicly sang him the traditional mañanitas. The musicians claimed to have traveled from the United States especially to participate in the celebration. According to estimates, Mencho would have turned around 59 years old at that time, although his exact date of birth was never fully confirmed. Despite all these incidents, the reality is that for a long time there was no absolute certainty about whether Mencho was alive or dead, nor about the origin of the rumors that spoke of his death. Matthew Allen, director of the DEA's Los Angeles office, went so far as to state in an interview with Univision News that it was most likely that the leader of the CJNG was still alive. According to his interpretation, Mencho's own men could have spread the version of his death as a protection strategy. The logic behind this maneuver would be simple. If the world believed he was dead, the pressure to find him would decrease.
That's smart.
Another possibility raised by investigators was that the rumors had spread at a time when the authorities were close to locating his hideout and that the boss himself could have diverted attention by sowing confusion. And that was not all. Some theories maintain that the intelligence agencies themselves could have allowed these rumors to circulate as part of covert strategies. The idea would be to provoke movements within drug trafficking, either to detect possible successors or to identify partners and collaborators who would try to confirm whether the leader had really died. Beyond the theories, for years the situation remained shrouded in uncertainty. Every so often, new versions emerged about terminal illnesses, armed confrontations, or possible captures, but none could be definitively confirmed. And while doubts persisted, Mencho continued to be an almost invisible but extraordinarily powerful figure within Mexican drug trafficking. Because the real concern was never just whether he was alive or dead, the real fear lay elsewhere. When a criminal leader of this level truly disappears, what usually follows is a war. And the question that many asked themselves was inevitable. If Mencho disappeared for good, did the CJNG have enough power to take Mexico into a new wave of violence? His capture or death was considered a priority for both the Mexican government and the United States. The operation that ended his life was carried out in Tapalpa, a mountainous area of the state of Jalisco, considered one of the historical strongholds of the CJNG. Following the armed confrontation in which he was killed, members of the cartel responded with coordinated attacks, setting vehicles on fire and blocking roads, forcing authorities to activate emergency operations in several regions of the country. Oh my gosh, there are people running.
Dang, people just trying to get home and they got to deal with that or go out for work. That could not be fun to deal with at all.
The license plate. Look, 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 look. That one with a gun. Look, they all have it. Look, look at the taxi. Look, look at the taxi. Get in. Come on. I was setting the fire up there. You saw it. Hey, there aren't just a few.
The whole squad. Woo!
The violent reaction confirmed the enormous power that the organization still maintained. Although the death of El Mencho represents a historic blow against drug trafficking, specialists warn that the CJNG remains one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world. The disappearance of its leader could lead to internal disputes for control of the cartel and a new wave of violence in Mexico. After years of being one of the most wanted men on the planet, Nemesio Seguera Cervantes died without having been captured. With his fall, the story of the leader who turned the Jalisco Nueva Generacion cartel into one of the most powerful criminal empires of the 19th century comes to an end. But even after this news that is revolutionizing Mexico, many unanswered questions about El Mencho remain. Some of them are, what do we really know about his influence outside of Mexico, especially in the United States? How far did his political connections reach or his ability to pressure different governments? Trump was truly his enemy. How did his network operate to stay one step ahead of the authorities for so long? Who were his key allies and who benefited from his power in the shadows? You will find the answers to these and other equally important questions in the video that is now appearing on the screen. This is a documentary that we made for the Para Not a Normal channel, a channel of which I am a producer, which is why I recommend this super complete report on the entire life of El Mencho, revealing many secrets and revealing many truths. I'll leave the link here on the screen and I'll also leave it below in the comments so you can check it out.
That's some good stuff.
I invite you to click on that link, come in and comment, I'm coming from the day what, or I'm coming from the day that, in the comments below so we can see how many people subscribe to this new channel of ours and how many.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Tell me what you guys' thoughts is. I would not want to be in Mexico no time soon, nor in the foreseeable future. It's finna get ugly if it's not already there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all my supporters. I love you. And that's it. We out.